Hey everybody, welcome back to the London's Pretty Cool podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Patrick Briggs. Along with my sister, Erin, we have a really exciting episode coming up for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to be talking to the owner of brand new business, J.S. Ryan and Co. here in the city of London. Owner and business runner Ryan J. Ford is giving us the rundown on this brand new business in a great part of the city in Old South. Out on Rideout Road. The business is all about inclusiveness and all about bringing people together who don't normally feel comfortable in maybe a barbershop type experience. We talk about that as well as the cool products he has working on right now, as well as his really interesting history in music, in restaurants, and just in London in general. I'm really excited for you all to hear about it and learn about who he is. Let's get to the episode. Welcome back to the London's Pretty Cool podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Patrick Briggs.
And I'm Erin Briggs.
And we are here with another fantastic guest. This is a new business here in the city, one that, as you can see, is killing it with what they've got going on. We're sitting down here with Ryan J. Ford. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Fantastic, thank you.
Ryan is the founder and business owner of brand new business here in the city, J.S. Ryan and Co. It's a new barbershop, specifically not a barbershop, more of a, what would you call it exactly?
I think we're sort of bridging that gap between hairstyling and barbering, if that makes any sense.
Now, you started this business just fresh this year.
Yeah.
That's right.
When did you open this? What was your opening?
1 month in. We're about a month in, so July 13th was our official opening date. Yes.
It's been pretty good so far.
It's been fantastic. Lots of amazing neighborhood support, and being that I spent a lot of time in my youth in the city of London, all my old friends and people are really coming out of the woodwork. So to come and support and check it out.
I was going to say, how long have you been a barber/hairdresser?
Actually, only a little over 4 years.
Nice. What got you into it?
I'd always kind of been pretty hair conscious. If you ask my friends, I was always the guy who was blow drying my hair, even on tour in a band, that
gotta look the part,
making sure it's all styled.
And I always had pretty trendy hairstyles and whatever, and I considered it a number of times throughout my lifetime. And with the resurgence of the whole barbershop culture and all of that that's been happening over the last probably decade or so, I decided I wanted a career change, and I jumped right in.
You obviously are with the career change doing well. Again, as you can see, evidenced with this hairdo right here. I got lucky enough to try out the business just I think was it last week?
Yeah, about a week ago.
It's really cool to see you coming. You're not from London, but you obviously saw myself and others kind of losing it with our hairdos, not really having a great time. What made you choose London specifically to come here and save us, with all these bad hairstyles?
Well, I don't want to knock the other barbers in the city. There's some great talent here as well. But yeah, so growing up in Woodstock, I spent a lot of my youth here in London, in particular this neighborhood. This was a very punk neighborhood. When I was a teenager, there was a house up the road right at Baseline and Rideout, and there were basement punk shows there. Anyhow, I ended up here because I was tired of Toronto. I'd been there for nearly 20 years, and I wanted somewhere where I can, settle down and have a sustainable business model without the costs of the city of Toronto. It's getting just insane there. And my good buddies are the Wolf Brothers. They had mentioned that they're opening around the corner here. in this building. So I spoke to the landlord, who's also a punk rock kid from back in the day, who now owns this building. And I came up with the concept of all of this, and we went for it.
I was going to say, you kind of answered our next question, is why you opened in Old South. Is there any other reasons other than just you kind of grew up here and have been around?
Yeah, hanging around. I've always loved this neighborhood. I think it's super cool. Wortley's amazing. And like, you know, like I said in the beginning, like the community vibe here is so strong. And like everyone who's coming in here is just like, wow, we're so excited for this building to be actually making use of this building now. Like it was just, there was like, you know, just tenant after tenant that wasn't successful. And with the purchase of the building by the new owner, that was his whole plan. He's like, I want to bring in like cool stuff and have, and really like kind of revitalize this corner, because this building's beautiful. It's from 1880. It used to be the post office like back then, and it's been a number of things over time, right? And apparently it's haunted. I don't know. So there's
I haven't seen anything so far.
I haven't seen anything, so it's fine. But yeah, Old South, and also just my connection with the Wolf Brothers. Like Greg and I used to play in a band together. We've known each other, I think, probably about 25 years. And when they were saying they were opening the restaurant, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to come back and also to sort of follow my dream of being a business owner. So
you did a ton of work on this shop too. When I was getting the cut, you mentioned that this place was. It luckily was still a hair salon beforehand.
It was,
but otherwise you've pretty much gutted the place and
100%
made it all your own.
Yeah, 100%. It would, and that was the thing too. Like the previous landlord just didn't do a lot of maintenance on the building. They've even they've done like upgrades to the outside as well. And yeah, when we came in here, there was a drop ceiling, so 2 feet down from there. You know, it was dark. It was very like outdated, whatever. So we basically just gutted the place and started from scratch. Called in. That's the other thing too. Like all of my friends, and actually 2 of the big contributors to the space and the brand are both London Old South punk kids. Ben Playford, he did my branding, and Matt Ling of his company's called Run the Tools. He custom built these stations for us here.
Very nice, yeah. I was thinking about this when I first came in. I was like, this is really
He's incredibly talented, and I kind of drew up the design. I've just from shops I've worked in, I've kind of got some, you know, inspiration from how they did it, but also like kind of re-engineered them to be as efficient as possible with like storage and all that. So I drew it up, and then he went ahead and did this beautiful like millwork. We're really happy. So.
And you also had some incredible artwork done as well by a local Jeremy Bernil as a part of this place
also
as well. Also, that dude just kills it. He also of the music scene.
Yeah.
We have an episode with him, episode 17.
Yeah.
For anybody listening and watching, he did us your. You were saying he's got physical artwork incoming, but also has done the merchandise artwork for you as well. Yeah,
so it came about actually from my designer, Ben Playford. Actually his dad was just sitting here for a haircut 2 days ago. And he's an Old South guy. They all grew up here. Anyway, Ben came up with this idea of taking the old school like Barber poster when you walk in to the barbershop. It had these like floating heads of just like haircuts, and you'd walk into the shop and be like, yo, I want number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So he did this sort of mock-up of it, and I loved it. And we talked about, can we get a local artist through the punk scene in London, Jeremy has done so many cool things, and he's done not just in London. He just did the cover of the new Lawrence Arms record, which is on Epitaph, right? So I loved what he was doing, and we proposed our sort of like idea for the brand, and he was really on board. So he's doing this painting that will eventually be right there, 6 feet tall by 11 feet wide.
Wow.
So cool.
9 different painted heads on like the blue background kind of thing. And then each head will then coincide to a house-made hair or beard product that we are making. So the first one is already there. So he's done line drawings so that we can do like a very like simplified version of it. Yeah. So my colleague and my first employee, Vanessa McGrath, she came from Toronto as well with me. She decided to move to London as well, and she has a cosmetology background, so she's going to be manufacturing, and yeah, we're going to make the product right in here, like all natural beard and hair products with yeah, and then the branding is more like my side of the thing.
So when you say products, like what kind of things are you offering? Like shampoo and stuff like that, or what?
We may get into that, but first off, right now, all we have is a paste. It's a really versatile, it's definitely the flagship product. It's yeah, it's a matte product, but it's amazing. Like I use it in my hair. You can blow dry it, or you can put it in wet. You can put it in dry. It's amazing. And then we're gonna do. We have a beard balm on the way as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will be happy about that around here.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of like the beard oils.
Yeah.
I don't think you should really put oil in your hair. I don't know where that came from. People using coconut oil and argan oil and all that crap in their hair. I think it's weird.
There's a lot of it goes in everything. You can cook with it.
It's like really bizarre.
It's a miracle product.
But ours isn't even a beard balm. I wouldn't even call it a beard balm. It's more like a leave-in conditioner. So it's got like almost a hand cream type or face cream type of texture, but it's a little bit thicker. And yeah, it makes. We're calling it soft spot.
Ooh.
So,
I like it, yeah. Not too prickly.
It sounds really interesting.
Absolutely.
It does. It makes your beard hair incredibly soft. And being that, yeah, beard hair is a lot more coarse than the hair on your head, it's really nice. And like your lady friend will definitely thank you for that.
Sounds like a good upcoming Christmas birthday gift. When
we will definitely have like Christmas packaging kind of deals thing. Yeah.
Just getting a little bit back into it, I was reading that, and you talked about it at the beginning as well, that you're doing both kind of traditional old school barbering and modern hairdressing techniques.
Yes.
So what's the difference, and what would, like, to me, I don't know what the difference between a barber and a hairdresser is.
For sure. So traditionally, barbers really rely on their machines. They rely on their clippers. And if you didn't go to hair school, you generally don't get any education on your scissor work. If you go into a traditional barbershop and you're an apprentice, you're gonna be great at banging out a fade, but you're not necessarily gonna have the expertise to really connect the top into the sides of the haircut. That's why you see a lot of these like really disconnected undercuts where, you know, it's shaved up to here and then it's just like this strip. It's almost like a mohawk without the back.
It reminds me a bit of all the COVID haircuts that happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So traditionally, you don't learn those things. Well, I ended up apprenticing at a shop in Toronto, and it was actually their goal was to sort of bridge the gap between those things, and it's a very Euro style of haircutting. There's companies in the UK, specifically Menspire, Ruger. There's like these amazing barbers, Josh O.P., all these Instagram famous barbers, but they are banging out like high fashion, like proper connected men's haircuts where there's such a focus on scissor work, but then you're still combining your clipper work and it's really cohesive. That's the background I have from the place I went in Toronto. And there's not very many people applying those types of techniques here in London. So that's what I want to do here.
Yeah, you were saying when I was getting my cut, you wanted to differentiate a good, like, there's a lot of the same haircuts out there, you know?
There definitely is, yeah. And I mean, part of the fun of this industry is like the creative side of it, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, like, you know, everyone wants like number 2 on the sides with a side part and like the slick back and whatever. But sometimes that doesn't work for everyone. And, you know, a big part of my process in cutting hair really is the consultation. It's like, is that a suitable haircut for you? Is it, you know, like, do you want to try something different? I'm actually loving this whole, like the post-COVID haircut. We're finding a trend in people wanting to keep more length.
Yeah, I was going to say they like their hair long now.
They're coming in, they're being like, you know what? I haven't had my haircut in 5 months, but my wife really likes the length. So I kind of just want to trim. And I'm like, yeah, because, you know, over time it starts to get a little mullety. It's not the best. So I'm actually doing a lot of like shape up jobs, and I love doing full scissor haircuts. Like I have more of a passion for like scissor work than I do clipper work, to be honest. You know, anyone can sit here and bang out fades all day long, but when I get to do those scissor haircuts, it's more creative. It's more like, it is just more hands-on. It's more intimate. And I've been able to do a lot of that because of this COVID trend. It's really interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, and those are the haircuts you can do the big blowout, and they look fancy for a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the funniest part is another thing I learned from you that I want to try is using a blow dryer more on my hair. I've never done that. Like I think I tried it when I was in high school, but I didn't know what I was doing yet and everything. And like, but I think I know what you're talking about. You know, you gotta put the gel in, blow dry while styling, right? And like make it all just shape just so. I'm excited to get into this.
It starts with a properly structured haircut, though. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you and that's the whole thing too. It's like the philosophy is in what the way I cut hair. It's all about the structure and shape. And you don't get that education, like I was saying, it's like, you know, apprenticing at a traditional barbershop. So to lead on from that, I am starting an education curriculum that will be, I would really like to focus on the salons in town, because back to what you were saying, what you were asking before. So for many, many years, a man could go to a salon and they wouldn't get a great haircut because they don't know how to use their clippers. You go to a barbershop and you don't get a good haircut because the barber can't use his scissors. So for many years, men just got bad haircuts.
That's so true. So many bad haircuts out there.
So if you bridge that gap, now we have men getting good haircuts. So I would love to teach the salon stylists who didn't learn how to use their clippers. I want to teach them how to fade. And then I'm also planning to do a full 4 or 5 day like barber fundamentals course where you learn exactly how I learned.
I would take that. What are you thinking about, like this year or next year, something like that?
Next month.
Next month?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So check it out.
How do you sign up for something like this?
So right now, I'm in the I'm designing the curriculum, and I'm actually, this is the other thing, the Toronto barber scene is incredibly, there's just so much ego there. The shops don't talk to each other. Nobody hangs out. Like, it's very weird. And like education, this is the thing where I was in Toronto, they had an education program. Nobody from Toronto was taking it because they don't want to admit that they're going to be learning from someone who owns a shop down the street. I'm feeling a completely different vibe here in London. So I'm actually collaborating with another barbershop owner who's in the East End. He works.
Oh, wow.
He just opened Holy Ghost. So
okay, cool. I've heard of them. Yeah.
They're a tattoo / barbershop.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've got great design. I have heard of this. Absolutely, yeah.
So they're a very different vibe from my shop, but it's very cool, and it's East End. It's like, yeah, it's like tattoos on your face kind of guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Totally.
like I'm heavily tattooed, but it's just different. But this gentleman, Jameson Shaw, he took the class from where I learned in Toronto. So that's how we connected, and we were like, why don't we do education? So we're actually calling it, being that we're sort of collaborating 2 different shops. It's going to be called the Collective Academy.
I like
Ooh,
it.
nice.
So we're coming together. We both have similar backgrounds in hair, and yeah, we want to help people do better haircuts in London. So we've already got 2 people interested in our beginners barber class, and all we need is 4 because we only have 4 chairs, and for social distancing and all of that good stuff. We'll be hosting it here because my shop's bigger.
So this is like a beginner course, like no experience necessary.
Yeah.
And you'd say after these 4, it's 5 days?
I think it's going to be 4 days.
4 days. After these 4 days, how competent would you say I'd be if I were to sign up for this?
After 4 days, if you enjoy it and you find that you have the passion for it, because this is the thing, I've seen it many times. Someone takes a class and they're like, shit, this is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No one realizes until they get into it.
Exactly. Like I felt that way. I took a 4-day class and I was like, wow, this is like a thing. Like I thought it was going to be easy. I was like, oh yeah, I give my friends mohawks in the garage when I was like not like that at all. It's all about structure. There's like a lot. I wasn't doing good haircuts till like a year in.
Yeah.
Like they were okay. You know what I mean?
It takes time.
But it was like around that 1 year
that.
mark, I was like, I gained that confidence and I was like, yeah, I'm like banging out a really good fade and I'm doing it in under an hour and a half. You know, like
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Yeah.
like as an apprentice, my friends, they were like, dude, I don't know if I can sit in your chair for 2 hours.
So bored.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So back to your original question, I think that after 4 days, you could be an apprentice.
Cool.
And that's an old friend of mine, a skateboarding like punk buddy. He's in his like mid 40s, and he's like, I want to be a barber. I'm like, take my class and then tell me you want to be a barber.
Totally.
And so he's going to be the first student. And I told him, I'm like, if you dig it and you want to do it, I will hire you as my first apprentice.
There you go.
So, and then in a year, he'll be banging out sick fades.
That's all you need. I just wanted to go back with you saying about how the community in London's a lot different than Toronto, especially businesses working together. What have you found in London that kind of differs? Like, is it pretty much all businesses, or is it really just like the hairdressing kind of business that you've been a part of, or have you found that London's just kind of more community driven?
Yeah, I mean, everyone in this neighborhood has just been like so lovely. Like today, the woman who owns Allure in Wortley, and she was with a friend who, excuse me, does aesthetics around the corner at some other place. They were having a coffee next door. They were walking by and they waved, and I was like, okay. And they came in, and she's like, I used to work here when it was Spada's Village, like 9 years ago. And she's like, wow, it's beautiful in here. And was like, I own Allure over in Wortley, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm going to send my husband in here. She's like, I'm tired of giving him free haircuts. And same with the other woman. She was like, yeah, so I gave them cards. And then about an hour later, she walked in and she gave us that little cactus that's up there. She's like, I just wanted to give you a little plant for like, welcome to the neighborhood, whatever.
That's so nice.
You know, it's like, it's lovely. I think that also like Locomotive has been so like helpful. They've got our business cards. They're telling everybody to come over.
That's so nice, yeah.
And obviously like the Wolf brothers are my pals, so they're like spreading the word. I've been cutting everybody's hair that works at like Wolf Company Bar, and like slowly those guys are all starting to come in and stuff. So and another very close friend of mine is Nick Baird from Beer Lab.
Yes.
So same thing. He's like, I've got your cards on the front, and people are asking what it is, and they're like, "Whoa, this isn't your business card." He's like, "Yeah, you're already in my business. You don't need my card."
Yeah.
He's like, "This is my buddy's barbershop." So I've had some people coming in from there, and yeah, but just everyone, all the nosy Parkers that were watching us like kind of renovate and everything, they're coming by and like looking in the windows and whatever. They were our first clients.
Yeah.
They were just excited to see some like just stuff here.
And then say, especially living around here where nothing stayed for so long.
Yeah.
Like, finally.
And then every client that sits in my chair asks me when the pizza place is opening. So, yeah.
On your website, you make it very open and about creating a very inclusive environment in the shop. Why is that so important to you, and to tell all your clients that you keep it very inclusive, everyone's...
So with the resurgence of this whole barbershop culture, it's like it immediately became like super bro-y.
Yes.
And it was, you know, the deer head on the wall and like the checker floor and just a bunch of like tattooed guys with like big beards and whatever. And you know, even like further to that, it's actually there's like more of like the urban barbershop that's going on now, that's just like, you know, playing trap music, and it's like not an inviting environment. Like it's super bro-y, and that's one of the things I didn't enjoy about the shop that I was at in Toronto. It started out super cool, and then it just kind of went that way. And sure, like the guys that I was working with were very talented, probably some of the best like men's and, you know, short hair cutters I've seen in like the entire country, but they were so bro.
Yeah.
And I don't think that a woman or trans individual should have to go and pay $90 at the salon because of their gender. And all they want is like a short haircut. So we pride ourselves in offering short hair services for anyone and everyone, because I think that a lady should be able to come in here and pay $35 for a skin fade, a skin fade slick back, or she wants an undercut or something, you know? And you're going to a salon and spending all this money. I don't think that that's fair. I don't think the haircut should be by gender. So yeah. And also, you know, it's 2020. Like, we don't need these things. It's about time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm very passionate about that idea and kind of building that hybrid. That's why I built this shop, to not look like the traditional barbershop. I think it's cool that we've put traditional elements in here, with like the big painting and the heads and all of that, but a few of the heads are women with short hairstyles. So I guess, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's actually
sort of like going on and on.
I was actually going to answer another question, because I was wondering if it's, because you talked about barbershops and cutting men's hair. I was wondering about women coming in with, I obviously don't have short hair, but I know a lot of women who have short hairstyles and getting those to actually be styled and look good is hard. And I know going to actual salons, it's expensive to get anything done. Like even just getting a trim, it's like
It is.
a crazy amount of money. So I can't imagine women going in and actually wanting to get.
So there are also, it's a very hard, it's very hard to navigate to a degree, because we're not going to do those like really like chiseled out like bob haircuts. Like that is still a salon haircut.
Yes.
That we can't bang out in our 45-minute time, and like I don't use a straightening iron, you know, like it's just like not a thing. Like it has to be within a certain wheelhouse. We can do that. It's just we're not doing that. That is something that's a $90 service. But if you are of any gender and any, you know, sexual orientation, all of those things, you come in here and you want a fade or you want like a full scissor cut, and which is in the traditionally masculine style. Yeah. That's what we can do. Yeah. But like I said, I'm not going to chisel out those crazy bobs. That's I've done that and it's really hard. Yeah. It's crazy, like detail work. It's insane. Yeah.
Victoria Beckham pays a lot of money for that. You know, like getting that just so.
Exactly. So.
Yes. Perfect 45-degree angle.
Exactly.
Well, you know, like that reasoning of why you, like the importance of why you want to make it so inclusive is the reason why I actually found out about the place in the first place. My partner, she came here because she actually finds the exact same issue. Recently cut her hair short during the COVID time, had long hair, decided to cut it all off, and was going, you know, like it just kept growing. What do I do with this? You know, like, and like you were saying, there's not a lot of places that offer like a cut for her, you know, that she's looking for, that she feels comfortable going to. Yeah. And this was one of those things where a friend of ours, Jamie Bernil, the artist in Curl Bars doing your artwork, I don't know how it came up in conversation or she had found out about it, but she was super excited, came and tried it out, loved it, came back, tells me about it, has a fantastic do. I have to come try it out. Love it. And here we are. You know, it obviously works, you know, like I think what you're doing is a positive thing, because I personally myself, like being like a straight guy for my whole life, I also personally have just never felt super comfy in bro-y barbershops or anything like that.
Well, and to that point as well, the other thing about it, and like I said, the shop that I was working at in Toronto, it sort of evolved into having a bit of a bro vibe. But it still had a salon vibe from the get-go, and in the very beginning, we had a lot of the LGBTQ community coming into our shop in particular, saying, "I don't feel comfortable in a barbershop." Like, you know, for the most part, it was like, you know, like gay women, going into a barbershop and being like, I just felt like they just wanted me to leave the entire time I was there, so they could go on talking about their stuff, you know, their bro chats, whatever. But they said they felt like so uncomfortable, and I was like, I loved that I had that clientele, and they would say, you know what, I love this barbershop. It feels so comfortable. I can come in and I don't feel judged, right? And I wanted to recreate that here.
It looks like you did it.
No one should feel uncomfortable going in to like get their fucking haircut. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. You just want to like, at the very least, you want to get a good cut. At the best, you want to feel comfortable. You know,
and
like
enjoy your time. You're sitting there for a long time.
And you offer like just great service in general. Like during this COVID time, you know, the space is offered just for yourself or the person working and the customer and everything, for anybody worried and everything. So there's always options here to make yourself look good. Don't deny yourself the opportunity. We wanted to talk a little bit about some of your past history before the barbershop.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. I keep saying barbershop because it's just such a...
It's fine.
It's just such an easy...
We are, for all intents and purposes, we are a barbershop. But, you know,
We got to come up with a new term.
Yeah,
You know?
I know, but it's like, what do you call it? It's
It's a collective, right? Like what you were saying, like,
yeah, I
but
guess so.
it's either it's a good thing, is what it is.
Yeah,
So you were saying before you were in Toronto
yeah,
before this, but you actually worked in the restaurant industry for quite a few years.
I did.
What did you learn from that brought you like that you could like translate to this business as well?
How to operate a business. So I managed a number of like high-end restaurants in the city of Toronto, and was the sommelier. So I've designed wine lists. I've been essentially in sales like my entire career of doing that. And in those scenarios, you're crunching numbers. You're managing labor. I was managing cost of goods for a wine list of 150 different labels. I was like deep diving and analyzing like profit and loss reports, like P&L reports. So the business side and the sales side and first and foremost the customer service thing is something that just comes naturally. So
Totally.
yeah, I mean, I don't really have to pay for an accountant because I can do it all myself. Eventually, I hope to be busy enough that I might have to hire,
Yeah.
right? But for now, as a small business owner, I'm pretty confident that I've got a good handle on all that stuff, and it does come from my previous experience in doing those things. So,
Do you think the atmosphere of like that quick pace, you know, and the do you find it's the same here, or do you enjoy the kind of, maybe it's flipped, the maybe more laxed attitude of this, whereas like working in the food industry is just go go go?
yeah, I mean, technically, when you're a fully booked barber, it's go, go, go.
Oh yeah.
And but it's different too. So if I don't jive with a client, and that's always going to happen, no matter what, it might just not be a good fit for either of you. I only got to spend like 45 minutes tops with them, and then it's like you move on. But when you work in a restaurant, especially in like higher end dining, it's like, I got to spend the next 3 hours with these jerks. You know what I mean? And you're like, it can be very painful. Plus, you're managing your other
And
tables.
there's other tables of jerks as well.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or like, it's just like, oh my God, these people suck so much, but this table's so amazing, and I can't even give them amazing service because these people are
Bringing me down so much.
Yeah, it's just,
oh my gosh,
I
it's a roller coaster of mental
Yeah.
emotions, and it's
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
doing that line of work for as long as I did, yeah, I'm definitely a lot happier doing this type of thing for sure.
Do you have any advice for people who are starting a small business here in London, just as someone who just recently opened something?
Oh, advice. I don't know. I talk to me in like 6 months. 'Cause like I'm like a month in, and
So far, so good, or
yeah, like so far so good. I don't know. I guess
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I
No.
just know I've talked to the owners of Locomotive at their old shop, and they've talked about how they've had really difficult times actually getting like permits to do stuff. And I was just wondering if it's in London, it's specifically
London.
difficult for opening businesses, what you've run into, just if other people are listening, like, oh, I want to start a business.
Yeah. I was really lucky.
Yeah. There you
Because
go.
one, this business did not change any of the zoning,
Oh, right, because it was a
and the renovations were
changes.
primarily aesthetic. So the zoning didn't change. I didn't have to apply for a whole bunch of crazy licenses. Like there wasn't anything. Yeah, so I was lucky. So I can't really give advice because I didn't.
like on that.
To be
Yeah.
honest, like you know what, like we're good.
Good. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just made friends with the contractors as well while they were like, building it. We just like would have beers and stuff, and yeah, like that was the other thing. It's like just like making friends with people that like new people. So now
That
like
word of
those guys built my shop, but now they're my clients.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
just like reaching out to the neighborhood, like hanging out, same thing, hanging out, having a beer out back, and like all the people that live there, they're like, oh, when are you opening? Blah, blah. They're all my clients now. So yeah, advice, just make friends with everybody that builds your business.
Hang out.
And they'll become your clients.
People. Yeah, make friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. It's the same thing. I don't mean to refer to the, which is actually good because we want to ask about the music and a bit of your music history too. But it's a bit like being a musician at a show, or like in the music scene, being like, man, I really want to join a band. You know, you can't be walking around going like, I'm a guitar player and I want to join a band. Like, no one's asking that guy to join their band. No. You know, you just got to be there. You just got to hang out. You know, like eventually someone's going to ask you about what you're up to, what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're like, man, oh, I play guitar. Oh, cool. You know,
Yeah.
like,
We should jam sometime.
You know, maybe we should hang out sometime or something. You know, all that it'll happen. You know, you just got to be there.
Nobody wants the keener though. You know.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Chill, hang out.
I'll cut
Pretend
your hair.
you don't care.
I'll cut your hair. Like, no, that's all right, buddy. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you had quite the history. It was really interesting to talk to you about when I was getting my haircut. You were in the music industry for quite a bit of time, which is a great little link for us because we talk to a lot of musicians here in the city. Now, you were in the band The Weeknd, which correct me if I'm wrong. Your song was you had a big song in the Mean Girls movie. Was that right? Or am I getting the movie incorrect?
So. Uptown Girls.
Oh, Uptown Girls. That's
with
right.
Dakota
Murphy?
Fanning and Brittany Murphy.
That's one of my favorite movies. I love
Very
that movie.
cool.
And then the bigger of the two was Freaky Friday.
That was it.
Also love
With
that movie.
Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah. So we had a publishing deal with EMI. Which isn't a record deal. It's completely different. It's all, it's
crazy.
What it is. But yeah, so they got and Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were big fans of us as well. So they put our songs in like pretty much every like straight to DVD thing that they
probably
put
heard
out.
so many of the songs then, because my friend had all of the VHSs, and I'd go over and we'd just watch the Mary-Kate and Ashley movies.
Oh yeah, big
my
fans in
childhood.
this house. Absolutely.
We were like a bubblegum pop kind of like female fronted pop band with like keyboards and shit. So yeah,
I've been listening to it since you mentioned it. You guys were great too. Like really catchy stuff. Like it's awesome. It reminds me of Motion City Soundtrack a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that comparison.
Especially with the keyboards.
The keys,
you know?
I can see that.
There was this. This is, I think it's a Japanese band I'm thinking of. There was an anime show called Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, and it reminds me of like there's a real band that contributed music to that, and it reminds me of that a little.
Maybe that's why we did so well in Japan.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, fantastic. Because
Japan and Indonesia, we were like big. We're like we're like that cliche of, you know, like big in Japan.
Big in Japan,
like
yeah.
we like legitimately were. Like nobody gave a shit about us here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it wasn't that bad. Like we could play, you know, we'd sell out Call the Office and we could sell out like Lee's Palace in Toronto. But that was like about it. And even having like a video on Much Music and like all of that, like just people in Canada didn't care. But we'd go to like Indonesia and play in front of like 70,000 like screaming kids. So
it's crazy.
It was like
You've experienced it all, the dark dungeon kind of like venues, and then also that big stadium kind of tour.
Yeah. Like we would go and play to that, and then I'd come home, and at the time when I was in The Weeknd, I was a bank teller. So I spent like a month being like a huge rock star, and I'd come home and like have to listen to this 80-year-old woman complain to me about her like service charges.
You'd still have your regular day job still? Oh yeah.
I would tour like for a month at a time, and then I'd come back and like work my like shitty day job.
What member of that band were you for reference? Because you guys have a lot of like your albums have your whole band on the cover.
Yeah.
What member are you?
I'm the one with the swoopy like emo hair.
Okay,
and like
cool.
the guy liner and a studded belt, leather jacket. Yeah.
What instrument did you play?
Guitar.
So sweet.
Yeah. And previous to that was Sinclair, which was like a post-punk hardcore thing that was like emo, I guess. In like 90, we started that band in like 97. That was with Greg Wolf. And actually Justin,
That's how you know those
Justin
guys,
was the drummer in the first incarnation of that band. So
there you go.
Greg and Justin, myself, and another guy, Ian from Woodstock. And yeah, we put out 2 records on Sonic Onion out of Hamilton. And we toured. That was before the weekend. When we broke up, I joined.
Very cool.
So
you've kind of done it all.
I've lived a few lives.
Yeah.
I'm happy to settle down in London town and and just like do some good haircuts now. Though.
Yeah. Just enjoy it.
Those lives are been and gone.
Well, now that we're in London town, we might as well ask some London questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So this might be an easy question, but we ask it anyways. What would you say is your favorite neighborhood here in the city, as we are the city of neighborhoods?
Old South.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably an obvious one.
I will move here.
Yeah.
I currently am in Woodstock and I come in every day, but the hunt is on for a nice place here. Yeah.
Yeah. They're always popping up and then they're gone within
It's
that.
like that. Yeah, it really is.
Quick.
Yeah, it'd be sweet if you found something right around the corner here too, like where you could just like walk every day.
That's the plan. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So this might also be an obvious answer too, but where's your favorite place to eat? One of your favorite restaurants in the city?
In London currently.
Yeah.
Wolf Company Bar.
Yeah.
COVID has limited my ability. Being someone who comes from the restaurant industry, I love to dine out, and I always love to find the place. Whenever I'm traveling, I'm like asking like, oh, where's like the cool place to eat, you know? And honestly, like the Wolf brothers are just killing it. They literally have like some of the best food in the entire city.
I was gonna say I went there for the first time on Friday, and it was amazing.
It's delicious.
So good. Yeah.
I love that it's like a place you can go and get chicken wings and a burger and like a bacon wrapped hot dog, but like they'll be featuring some like amazing like tuna sashimi with like ramps, you know, like it'll be like this like fancy dish with like all these fresh local amazing ingredients, but you can also have that experience of like, I'll go there once a week and have the best burger in the city, you know?
And they have that great back patio now that it doesn't even feel like you're on Wortley. It's just nice.
It's awesome.
Little in the back.
I was at Los Lobos last night. I was at Company Bar a few nights before that, and I've been to I'll eat tacos every day, so I've been to their new taco joint too. So
I just tried out a new spot. I know this isn't part of this segment. New spot, maybe you should check it as well. It's right around where I live. I think it's either called Mockingbird or Mockingjay. It's on English.
It's the cocktail bar in behind Whistling Dick's Barbershop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maddie works there. Shout out Maddie, one of the best in the city.
Shaggy?
Yeah, exactly.
I've known him since I was a teenager as well.
Oh, yeah?
He was the bartender at Call the Office for ever. Yeah.
Forever. Maddie's the
best. We go way back.
As soon as I walked in there, he was the first person that saw me. He's the best.
Yeah.
I just went there the other night. Love that place. So you've been there already? Then.
I haven't been. No.
Oh, you haven't been?
I just know about it because I got to know these things, right?
I tried out that. I don't know if it's a signature drink. It was called like a brambleberry or something like that. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But it was real good, real tasty. So
amazing.
Check it out for sure.
All right. What would you say is a hidden gem in the city that maybe not a lot of people know about? That they should check out?
I got no clue. I literally moved here in May 1st.
All right.
I moved back May 1st.
So you can listen
and COVID-19 has hindered my ability to explore the city. So hidden gem.
Or what would you say since moving here or moving close to was the coolest thing you've kind of rediscovered or
Maybe a good
found?
surprise or something like that. Yeah.
Like maybe a lot of people do know about it, but you just kind of happened upon it, or
Well, I mean, I actually haven't been there yet, but everyone keeps raving about Madre, the pizza
Madre.
place.
Yes, I have heard about that.
Yeah, so,
sounds really
and
good.
he happens to be one of our clients now, the owner.
Okay, cool.
So I got to go pay him a visit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sourdough crust. I've never had sourdough pizza crust.
Me neither.
I-
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds pretty
That
amazing.
does sound really good.
Yeah, so yeah,
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna,
Madre.
yeah, I'm
Check
definitely
that out.
checking that out.
Okay, cool. So we are going to do a little game to finish off.
Mhm.
It's our famous game, This
Or that.
That. Oh yeah, there you go. So we're gonna just do like it's kind of like quick. What do you call it? Like lightning round.
Yeah, no need to explain. We're going to give you two options in London that are pretty similar.
Yeah.
And you choose which one you prefer.
Okay, hopefully I know all of the references.
gonna say,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
might be a
This,
little-
this might be tough. You might have to go pass, and then
Yeah.
we'll try.
We'll think of ones on the
think of some
spot.
other
Okay.
ones. All right.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Masonville Mall or White Oaks Mall?
White Oaks
Beer Lab or Forked River Brewing.
Beer Lab.
Covent Garden Market or Western Fair Market?
Covent Garden.
Wortley Road or Dundas East.
Wortley.
And Call the Office or London Music Hall?
Call the office.
There we
Boom,
go.
there it is. Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time today. We really, really appreciate it. Is there anything that you wanted to?
I was going to say, let the people know where you're located, how to book some appointments.
Yeah.
What do you want to let people
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. 350 Rideout Street South in London, right next to Locomotive Espresso. Our online booking system is incredibly user-friendly. You can actually book and pay for your appointment. You walk in, you sit down, you get a haircut, you walk right out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Website's jsryanco.com.
Tip them well ahead of time too.
It will be the best haircut you've ever gotten.
There you go. Thank you so much for taking the time, Ryan.
Yes,
Thank you.
you.
Hi, my name's Ryan J. Ford from JS Ryan & Co., and you're listening to London's Pretty Cool podcast.